What's up, everybody? Paddy Gilliland from Profane Candy Horse. profanecandyhorse.blogspot.com is the address. Though we have a surprise coming up soon, so hopefully, if you check out the site, follow us on Facebook. We are at facebook.com/profanecandy, or follow us on Twitter at candy_horse. We've got a bit of a surprise coming up for the website, but I'm here today with the gameplay video of Kerbal Space Program. For those not familiar with Kerbal Space Program, the concept of it is that this planet here is called Kerbin, and these guys are Kerbals, and you run their space program. It's in alpha at the moment, and there is an update available. I'm working on version 19, or 0.19, 0.0.49. It's an internal build, I think. But continually getting updates. I do have an update available. I've got to go get that. But for the purposes of this gameplay video, I thought I'd show you some of the things. But more importantly, whilst it's a space program, what they've managed to simulate is not just space travel and the physics of that, but also physics of suborbital flight. And being a bit of an aerospace buff, a bit of a flight nut, enjoy aircraft flying around the open skies, and so this is what this game's been able to do. So I have been into space, and KW also from PCH has done some space faring. And while I haven't quite got there yet, I have had a fair bit of fun with some aircraft. I have sent some satellites into orbit, though I did one of these scenarios the other day, and it decided to delete the satellite I had in orbit. So I don't have the satellite, but I will be putting another one back in. I will be getting into space at some stage, but I do have a fair bit of aircraft that I've designed, and that I am currently just enjoying flying around. The first one of which I want to show you today, and then show you some sort of a bit of a flight test that I did. And I put sort of all the designs of the aircraft I make through. So if I just hit load, I'll show you my B-10 Mosquito. So there she is. Let's lift her up a bit and have a bit of a look around. You may notice that this is one of the very first aircraft I built, and not quite thinking necessarily that properly about where my center of mass and my center of lift was. I was all concerned about the wobbles and not being able to keep the plane straight, so I smacked on like 3 SAS units, the stability units, which in hindsight is pretty ridiculous, to be honest. But they're there now, they're part of the design. The plane flies well, so why move them? Also an avionics package, so we have the full gambit of keeping this thing stable in air. We have one of our sort of, the radial engine bodies here, and a couple of intakes here to get some air intake. A single engine here at the back, producing a lot of thrust. I have foolishly, and you know what, why don't we just get rid of these for now. I put on a couple of for electricity generation, a couple of solar panels. Completely didn't work. They flying at in excess of 200 meters per second. They solar panels don't like that, so they tended to fly off. I'll just get rid of these for the moment. I also put in, as part of the complete package, when I finish up an aircraft, I'll put on a little thermometer meter and a barometer. It doesn't tell you an awful lot. I mean, it just sort of completes the look, gives you a bit more information, and a communications thing. Communications don't do anything right now in Kerbal Space Program. Like you have antennas and stuff under science. You have Commutron 16 and an 88-88. It doesn't seem to do anything at the moment, though I'm pretty sure at some stage they'll figure something out that they want to do. your landing gear, obviously, so you can get back down. Got a light here. I have put sort of usually lights on each of the landing gear. This particular one, like each of the landing gear has their own lights. You can see them there and there. But I do generally put on an extra one, provide some more floodlighting. And then after the first few times I flew around, landed somewhere, and then thought, oh, I'll get out and then have a look around. I couldn't get back into the plane. So, step ladder. Very necessary. So, without further ado, let's begin. So here we are on the runway, ready to go at the Kerbal Space Center. Now, as part of my full sort of checklist of trying out these aircraft, what I do is go through a little flight routine, just to make sure that the aircraft sort of runs properly before I get to this sort of final stage where we have the knack sort of things like our thermometer and our barometer and the our communications satellite radar antenna thing. I tend to just have a few practice flights, make sure the thing will fly in a straight line, make sure I can land it. But then once those are settled, to sort of check the performance, I guess, of an aircraft. Go through a few things, we make sure the lights are on. There you can see the lights. We also check that the radar dish will open. Yep, opened up. We turn on the barometer, get our pressure gauge, we turn on the thermometer. We've got everything going. Okay, so let's kickstart the engine. Alright, you see the icon comes up in the corner. There's a design floor there, you can see I've got two control surfaces there. I don't know if that's necessarily helped stability of the aircraft or not, but okay, so without further ado, brakes off and power up. So the first thing we do once everything's on and we're running down the runway, we keep it straight and we do a full throttle takeoff and a vertical climb straight out of it. So going pretty fast. Let's go straight up, gear up, and we'll lock her up in position so we get sort of pretty straight incline. Let's really give it like we're going straight up. You can see the speed still sort of increasing. Perfectly straight. Look at that. I think we'll be flying to the moon. Okay. Alright, we'll level out. Takes a little bit to get back down to somewhere sort of level. You can hear the engines whining a little bit. Just get somewhat level. Up, 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 up. Maybe I'll put it on the softer controls. That's a bit better. Or is it? I'm just fluffing around now. There we go. That's relatively straight. We're sort of dipping below the horizon. Let's just get straight. So there we are, flying at around about 216 meters a second, full throttle. It can definitely go a lot faster, especially you do what's called a zoom climb. You sort of like full throttle and going down, go straight up like we were doing. It can go very fast. So now we're here. Let's just reduce this down to 3/4 throttle. Let's do a half loop and get ourselves going back where we came from. takes a little bit. Doing a half loop at 3 quarter throttle just sort of gives an indication of, well, can the aircraft sustain that? Let's just fly inverted for a little bit, because that's pretty fun to do. Getting a little crazy. Need to just relax and focus on flying. There we go. That's pretty straight. And Jebediah's having a great time. He loves this. Okay. Let's complete the loop. See that speed increasing. Going straight down into the ocean where we're plenty of height. You don't want to sort of do this anywhere really below. Don't want to start this maneuver anywhere near below sort of 3,000 feet. You probably got a little bit of room to maneuver underneath there, but safety precaution, you know. Okay, so let's try rolling the aircraft, see how that goes. Gets a little bit wonky, but it can sustain that, and Jebediah's loving it. Alright, now we'll do a split S-turn and S-turn. I'm not quite sure exactly what you call it, but basically let's just give ourselves some height here. So an S-turn, we'll do it from the back. You come up, you sort of draw an S in the sky. You're one way, and you go back over the other way. Full throttle maneuver to really evade other enemy aircraft. Alright, let's head over to this island over here. We'll do a bit of a flyby, and then head on back over to the Space Center and land. So this was my first attempt at making an aircraft, and actually after I'd completed it, it kind of meant that I hadn't been considered going back to spacecraft, which is I think JW. From Profane Candy Horse also was sort of saying, it's kind of sad, it's so beautiful in space. Why don't you go out and see some of that? So I will get back to space at some stage, but I'm just really enjoying the fact that you can create aircraft and fly them and land them and make them look like fighter aircraft. And actually, what I've done with this particular aircraft too, it's pretty, I've created a variant of it, which I'll show you. You may have somewhat seen it at the start of the video when I was loading some of the aircraft. I'll sort of swoop in on this airfield. Spoilers, I guess, if you haven't seen this before, you play Kerbal Space Program and you haven't seen this before, there is a small airfield. Oh, impromptu explosion. I don't know what that was. So we sort of take back off a little bit, get a bit more height. Let's go on over back to the Space Center. We'll stay at full throttle. Straighten up a little bit. Yeah, so I've been having far too much fun with aircraft and really not getting into the spacecraft nearly as much as I probably should. It's what the game's designed for, I guess. But it's insane just how much I guess they needed to just be able to simulate atmospheric flight within here, somewhere where your air-breathing engines live and survive, I guess, for lack of a better term. Because, rockets, if you look over at the Space Center where the rockets take off from, rockets are going to get through here. They go through this atmosphere to get up into space. So that's, it's just really interesting to me that they simulate these sort of things. But I gotta say, I love it. I love this game. I've spoken to a few people and sort of got them into it, and it's just how it does what it does, and it's just a sandbox at the moment. You have unlimited resources and just an open solar system, really, to explore. With my love of aircraft, and I want to sort of get back up into space up over there. Thinking of creating a space plane. So a space plane being aircraft that we can use air-breathing engines to fly within the atmosphere. Then when we get to a certain point, we turn them off and use our rockets to get out of the atmosphere. So let's go ahead, reduce our engines a little bit, and let's land this. The last part of things, all we do is make sure our lights are on, we put our landing gear down, and put the brakes down, so as soon as we hit the ground, we'll start to brake. I generally like to put the gear down after I've dropped below 150 meters per second. I probably did that slightly earlier in this video, I'm not too sure exactly. But regardless, you just start to ease it on in as you see the detail in the Space Center now we're down at quarter throttle. Angle that nose up a little bit, keep us straight. Oh, I'm gonna land halfway through it. And so, because it's like general aerospatial physics apply in real life, they apply here too. I run out of runway. You can use the wings to help generate a little bit of speed brake, and there we are. Now we've landed. So that is the aircraft. The B-10 Mosquito and the general flying pattern that I use. At this point I'd sort of turn off all the systems. What I'm going to do for you is show you what my little mod has been here now. Or when I say mod, I mean modification to this aircraft, not any of the multiple modifications you can get for Kerbal Space Program. What I've done to this particular one is create one with a payload. So you say payload. Let's lift this up a little bit and have a look. So automatically you can see there's some things sitting on the side. These little things here are, if I go into the propulsion, we go to the next page. These are these monopropellant tanks. So, small little things that contain a little bit of fuel. If you have a look there, they sort of contain 40 units of monopropellant, whatever that is, so the total mass is 0.235. What I found is I was able to add 4 on each side, so I have a payload of 8, and essentially they work like bombs, free-falling bombs. They're full of fuel, and when they hit the ground they explode. So let's show you how they work. So I'll just take off and go around. Won't go through the full procedures I usually go through. I'll just get going, take her off, drop them bombs. The bombs, actually, considering there's 8 in total on the aircraft, add a fair bit of weight. So generally I'd be able to pull up right about now and lift off. I need a little bit more runway, almost get to the very end. Actually we will. There we go, that was a bit close. Pull up the gear. Considering the weight, it does take a little bit more effort to be able to, when I say effort, a little bit more in terms of engine output. Generally leave the throttle at full when we have full payload. Can reduce this payload a bit. So let's just go in for a run here, shall we? So we come in, pull out a little bit. Now, camera's looking pretty happy. As we approach the land, we're in pretty low. Level up a little bit, drop them, and there you go. Get into a bit of a spin, and then you can see I'll just level out a little bit. Up. What you'll see in the undercarriage, is they're still there, the hard points that these bombs were attached to. So so that's it. That is, and as we take away that, let's get ourselves a screenshot. That's great. We fly over the Kerbal Space Center. That is the first video of the, hopefully in a series of Kerbal Space Program videos on some of the aircraft that I've made. Again, visit the website, profanecandyhorse.blogspot.com. Check out our articles and views and opinions on everything to do with video gaming. Follow us on Facebook if you go to facebook.com/profanecandy. Make sure to like us there so you can keep up with news. There is a competition starting very soon that you might want to get into, so definitely go check that out. You also need to follow us on Twitter @candy_horse. That's it. So make sure you do those things. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, go to the website, check us out there. There's a competition coming up soon, and stay tuned for more videos.